Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Just want to discuss tonight's Patriots Kansas City Chiefs game. Before we get into it, if you guys like this video, give me a like, hit that subscribe. So we're just gonna jump right into it. Kansas City won tonight, 26-10. Not a big surprise that Kansas City won this game. Once Cam Newton got hurt and Belichick decided to start Hoyer over Stidham, you knew Kansas City was going to win. I was trying to predict the score earlier today, and I was surprised. The Kansas City did play very unlike how they usually play. I was expecting this to be a huge blowout. I was thinking it's going to be like 45-7 or 42-0 or something like that. I mean, Kansas City's a best team in the league, and they have a great offense. So tonight, I don't know if it was the Patriots defense just managed to play really that well, or if Kansas City was just having an off night, because it just, I don't know, I couldn't tell which way it was. To me, the Patriots defense really did step up. Not to take anything away from Kansas City, but I mean, they kept the Patriots in this game, almost 3/4 of the game, and the Patriots offense was doing nothing. Hoyer was in almost halfway to the third quarter. I forget exactly when Stidham went in, at what point it was, but by the time they put him, it was like a little too late. Hoyer he's a journeyman, and he's never been good. I think he's 1-11 as a starter, and his last win was against Detroit. And I really don't believe he has any business starting, especially against Kansas City. I believe Stidham should have been in there for them to start. I think it would have made a big difference, because you could tell when Stidham came in, it was like a completely different offense when he was in there. Granted, he made some mistakes. He had a couple of interceptions. One wasn't really his fault. It went off of Edelman's hands. So it really, but then there was one in the end. I think it was in the end zone. He kind of forced, and it was picked up at Kansas City near the end of the game. I think that's between his lack of experience and trying to come back from a large deficit against Kansas City with time running out. I think it's just the pressure probably got to him a little bit, because he looked better when he first came in. As for the running game, Damian Harris, he looked okay. He had 100 yards rushing average, 5.9 yards per carry, which is pretty good. I mean, I'm kind of glad Sony Michel was not playing. I want to see what this kid could do, because I'm not a huge fan of Sony Michel. I'm just not. He has these games where he shows up, and other games where he does very little. And I don't think he's very quick. I think what he's done so far has to do with more of the offensive line than it does with him. The rest of the team do what they do. Burkhead had a good game. James White had a good game. Nothing tremendous from any of those guys. It's just a decent game overall. As for receiving, there's a lot about Damian Byrd at 5 receptions for 80 yards, which I don't know why it's only just going to him, but I mean, it's not to. I'm complaining about one guy getting too many catches, but it was good. It seemed like they were trying to force it to him a lot, and Edelman just had an off night. He was barely even part of the offense tonight, except for near the end of the game. N'Keal Harry had a decent game. I think he's starting to get better every game that he plays. He seems to get a little bit better. I know last year was one of those things where he was hurt a lot, so I think this year he's starting to show that he can play. I don't know if he's really worth the first rounder. That's still kind of undecided about that, but I think he has been able to use his size to his advantage. Tight ends once again didn't do anything. They I don't know what's going on with the guys that they've drafted. They haven't done anything with those. It seems so far like wasted draft picks. Bill Belichick hasn't really used them. I think one was in last week's game. I think he was in there for a couple of plays, and that was it. So it's unfortunate for the Patriots, and for those people that are Patriots fans, how poorly the Patriots were in the fight. We shouldn't say poorly. Hoyer, he just couldn't get the job done. He just made too many mistakes at the wrong time, and he wasn't really. It was mostly the running game that was keeping him in the game. I don't know. I just not a big fan of Hoyer. I wish they hadn't started him. But it was good that the Patriots defense stepped up tonight, and they managed to keep them in the game for most of the game. But eventually, you're gonna make mistakes, and you can't do that against Kansas City. And they lasted 3 quarters of the game before they finally, started letting up some points. And between interceptions and fumbles, you can't do that against Kansas City. As for Kansas City, Mahomes had just 230 yards passing. They only ran for 94 yards. Not a tremendous amount, which, again, there was something, I don't know what it was. Maybe they just had an off night. I was really predicting it was going to be a huge scoring night for them, but it wasn't. 26 points against, isn't a lot considering that Hoyer and the Patriots didn't do a whole lot in the first half. I thought it was going to be a lot more than that. I think who was it? Kelsey led them with 3 catches for 70 yards. Tyreek held 4 for 64. So neither guy did a whole lot either. But the Patriots turnovers are what helped them win this game. I definitely think Kansas City deserves to win this game. They definitely played a better game. They didn't make any stupid mental errors. They didn't have any major turnovers. They didn't give no big penalties, which definitely kept them in this game as well in the first half. That's why it's so close. I think if the Patriots had, whether it's Stidham or Cam Newton, that game would have probably been a little bit closer. I can't say who would have won. Obviously, Kansas City definitely deserved to win. It is who it is. Hoyer started. There's still an NFL team. So the people who play, the people who play. There's really no excuse. It's just that Hoyer shouldn't have started this game. He shouldn't be starting anywhere, as far as I'm concerned. People talk about it was Hoyer good enough, but I knew earlier today when they said he's going to be starting, might as well just chalk it up to a Kansas City win, because they're not going to win with Hoyer. He's proven in his career that he's not a winning quarterback. I'm sorry, he just isn't. It was a little rough to watch at the end there if you're a Patriots fan, because they made just too many mistakes. And there's one penalty where I forget which guy was hit Mahomes out of bounds. Can't do that. A couple of plays that Kansas City also got. There was one where in the first half, and the ref blew the ball dead when it was clearly a fumble, and the Patriots recovered. And you blew it way too early. But again, it's the officials making stupid mistakes as well. I think I'm going to wrap this one up. I don't want to go on and ramble on too much. Bad game. Offensive wise for the Patriots, defense kept them in this game. Kansas City played good enough to win. They didn't do what they usually do, which is probably good for the Patriots. All it would have been an embarrassing blowout, but they did good enough to win. So I'm going to wrap it up. If you guys like this video, any thoughts or comments, put them on down below, and also hit that like and subscribe. Until next time.